In thinking about parenting being part of our own discipleship, I wanted to share another little parenting tip for those of you mamas out there that have younger kids in the home. I have 3 daughters who are all late teens and early adults, so I'm out of this particular parenting stage, but just a couple little tips that were given to me when I was a young mom that were really helpful to me. And you probably heard of this idea before, but this might just be a good reminder for you. So one of the challenges when you have kids is to keep an open line of communication. I don't know about you, but I have one daughter in particular who is just tight-lipped. It is very difficult to know what is going on in her mind, in her heart, what happened in her day. Just not a big communicator. She keeps things very close to her heart. So one of the little tricks that I learned when she was younger that I would do with all 3 kids, and we would often do this at dinner time, would be a little discussion game, if you will, called Rose and Thorn. So I would say to one of my children, Cassie, give me 1 rose and 1 thorn from your day. We would often do this on a Friday night when I tried to do like a family night on Friday evenings. So each of the kids has to share their rose and thorn. And obviously what that means is, what's one good thing that happened to you today? And what's one negative or bad thing that happened to you today? Because it's good to encourage your kids to share those things too. And I will tell you that often I would learn something that had happened to them in the day that I would not have known about otherwise and would not be able to have a dialogue about if we hadn't done Rose and Thorn. I had, several occasions where a child shared about something that happened to them during their school day that really hurt them or was, a negative experience. They weren't going to share that with me if I didn't ask them in this kind of game sort of way. So play Rose and Thorn with your kids. It's a great bedtime thing too when they're tucked in bed. And that of course leads me to my second parenting tip of young kids. And that is to see if you can carve out time for what we would call in our house a night in mom's bed. And it wasn't a night in mom's bed. I am not a co-sleeper. But what it was the child would get 15 to 30 minutes after the siblings were in bed to come get in bed with mom. And we would play a card game. Sometimes we would just talk. I had one child that loved to draw. So sometimes we would just get a pad of paper and we would challenge each other to draw things. But let me tell you, even my older kids, all the way up to 13, 14 years old, would really look forward to a night in mom's bed. So I would try to do it once a week. So Mondays was Bria's night in mom's bed. Wednesday was Cassie's night in mom's bed. Saturday was Annie's night in mom's bed, whatever, something like that. And again, it was just 15